guys. Greetings from the biggest palatial Starbucks I've ever seen in Bogota.
It's a good Starbucks, eh? I walked into here, and when we came out in the backyard, I was like, holy fuck, this is nice. I don't even like Starbucks.
It is. The coffee's terrible, but the...
It's got nice chairs.
It does. And it's hot for once in Bogota. We were saying, ironically, the day before I leave to go to Rio, which is smoking hot, and it's been terrible weather recently. Now it becomes super, super hot.
Yeah. Weird to be in Colombia and not even be able to wear shorts for like a week.
Well, it's Bogota, isn't it? If you go to Cali and Medellin, it's so hot, isn't it? But Medellin's hot, right?
Yeah, it's always like 26 degrees, I think, in Medellin.
Cool. So you had an interesting situation. You've had an interesting last few days. What
happens?
It's been.
I mean, Bogota's been a blast. Even though the first 2 times we came to Bogota, I really didn't. I mean, I had good times with ladies, but as a city, I thought it was a shit city. It was like by far the lowest in Colombia for me. So when you said come back to Bogota, let's meet there for a couple weeks, I was like, bullshit. Let's meet in Medellin. You're picking like the worst place in Colombia. But I'm totally glad I came because it's been such a blast. Now, actually, I could staying here for like a month or 2.
For me, it's now the opposite. I've spent a long time in Bogota now, so for next January, before I go to Brazil, I'm definitely going to hit probably Medellin for a month, or the 2 cities that were recommended.
Yep. The
Manizales and Pereira, that are supposedly the hidden gems. Do you know about those? He does.
Are they hidden gems?
The women are smoking? Okay, good.
Okay, I'm going to one of those. While you're in Rio getting drunk, I'm going to be in one of those.
I'm calling him Lucifer because I can't think of another name, but the Russian guy we've been teaching. The Russian American. He does look a bit like
You do know that there's that's probably not a compliment for most people.
Lucifer. He's a horny Lucifer. He's done well. Anyway, we digress. So, yeah, what happened the other day?
So we went out, I think it was like 4 nights ago or something like that, give or take. And I was out with the cameraman that came with one of your previous students. Anyway, this American guy.
Yeah, you're gonna watch that, and you're gonna know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. I won't name drop, but because
the guy who owns that weird secret camera and carries it everywhere.
No, his friend, because I was his jacket that I borrowed. But anyway, so we go out and we went to Gringo Tuesdays, which should have been a flag right there. But
well, the fact it's called Gringo Tuesdays.
So then we left. And my energy was tapering down. It was like maybe 12:30 at night. I was like, okay, I'm going to go get an early night. And we walked by, and there's this bench, and there's these 2 girls on the bench. One of them was okay. The other one was she was really cute, like girly cute, not stunning, but she was cute. She was like 19 or 20. And so we had a really good interaction, and we ended up going and getting a beer. And then...
So you met her on a park bench?
Yeah. And
at kind of what time of night is this?
12:30 at night, I think.
Okay.
But there were a lot of people around. It was like literally right beside the bar.
In the main kind of area, Zona Rosa. Right?
Yeah, in a very good, like the best area of Bogota.
Okay.
Very safe. And so, I mean, relatively safe for Colombia, except for the fact that guy got shot last time we were here at the cafe. Right beside us.
Yeah.
But aside from that. So anyway, then the interaction went well. We went for a beer. I escalated really fast because I was just like, I think it's on. And it did seem like it was on. So she didn't have her ID because she just had her bag stolen. So She had no phone, she had no ID. So I tried to get her into my hotel. Couldn't get her into my hotel because I could tell definitely she wasn't underage. That was so I was aware that she's definitely over 19 or 20, just the way that she was interacting. So then we go to my hotel, can't get into my hotel because she has no ID. So then she suggests kind of like a no-tell motel.
Okay.
That wasn't actually as seedy as I thought it might be. And we went in, no ID asked for. And then we started fucking around for 45 minutes or something. When we first got there, she said that she wanted a beer. And it was, in hindsight, one flag should have been that when we got to the motel, she didn't have pro energy. Like, that's what I was being conscious of. I thought, okay, she may try and hit me up for like a little donation. And I was like, oh, that's fine. If that happens, we just call it and take off. And I don't do that kind of shit. But that's kind of what I was watching for. But then, things started coming off and everything was escalating. And I was like, oh, okay, things are on. And she had her beer and she was drinking her beer. And then she gave me a few sips of her beer. And then so I had maybe half her beer. She had half her beer. We were fucking around. And then I woke up about 2 hours later, and she'd roofied me. And my phone was gone, my cash was gone, and obviously she was gone. And it was a nice phone. It was like a brand new iPhone 11, whatever, Pro.
Brand new.
Like 2 months old.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the first frustration was the financial issue. So I got up in the morning and it was like, fuck, like, I don't know, in Canada that's $1,000. Here they're like $3,000 for like the same. It's like two or three times.
3,000 US for an iPhone?
I'm thinking Canadian.
Canadian. So 1.5 US, one and a half grand.
Something
US.
like that. It was at least more than double. And so anyway, I get up in the morning, find a place to go there, get a new iPhone, get it all hooked up. You know, it takes forever to get your WhatsApp back on and everything. And so by the time I met up with you, and so I missed a date during the day because I couldn't text with her. And so I went there anyway. She didn't show up. I ended up getting a message from her later and seeing her in the evening.
Oh, okay.
But
sure.
she had said, hey, can we, you know, I think she had to change it by an hour or something. And then I didn't confirm, so she didn't come. And so I'm there, I wait for like half an hour at this date. I had to eat breakfast anyway. And then I was just in this majorly negative place.
Yeah.
Like super fucking frustrated. I probably didn't sleep well because of the drugs and shit. And then I found out the drugs, there's like a side effect that it's depressant. So
Sure.
I woke up just fucking, you've never seen me that dark. I haven't been that dark. And like
Yeah.
I went through a terrible fucking divorce and I wasn't that dark.
You even refused a coffee when I offered it to you. So
Yes,
I was like,
which I don't think-
there's something seriously wrong there.
Which I don't think has ever happened in my life.
I knew something was wrong when you did that.
But honestly, like I've never had where I could envision if I saw that chick, like physically what it would feel like to beat the shit out of her. I've never had that in my life with anybody. Maybe with guys, but never with a woman. Even with my ex-wife that I just literally have nothing good to say about. Even immediately when I left, I was like, I wouldn't like envision harming her in any capacity. So anyway, I was really, 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 really dark, and I came and saw you for a couple hours because I had 2 dates lined up in the evening. So I was like, fuck, like all my numbers are lighting up, and I'm in the worst place that I've been in, which actually should always trigger a positive thing in me because I've had the same with you, like, I don't know, 3 times, like when I'm at my worst. Same as in Scottsdale when I was like on death's door.
I feel like
When I was in Bogota last time, and I had,
I'm the
like,
common
whatever-
factor in this somehow. You think I'm the cure, but actually,
Dude,
somehow,
when I left Rio, same thing.
So
I
do
brought
when
back
you're
some
around me.
fucking flu that was like.
yeah.
But then I ended up going out on those 2 dates, and they were both fucking amazing women. One of them, I think, was the most feminine, most incredible woman and approach and interaction I've ever had in my life. Like we'd met when I was with one of the students on the street. It was like a 5-minute interaction, but it was like all in the eyes, and immediately we just skipped the phase of like getting to know each other, flirting, building, escalating, and we just like landed right in the honeymoon phase in like the first 5 minutes. So then we went out with, so this was the girl that I ended up seeing, but I'd already seen her that one time on the street, and one time I met her for a coffee for like 45 minutes, and was like, we were passionately kissing within 2 minutes. And in the way that everybody around would definitely think we were lovers from like months. And then that was one of the girls that I ended up seeing an hour after I saw you once I'd lost my phone. Thankfully, you helped me get me into a really positive headspace.
Well, I think the key was you just went and did a couple of approaches, which however low you're feeling, you know, especially maybe it's not, you haven't been roofied, but if you're kind of sitting there, maybe a little hungover, or you just had a bad week and you're sitting there on a Sunday, Saturday, twiddling your thumbs, even just the process of going out, putting yourself in a position with people around you and actually just interacting.
Totally.
You know, just the odd hello, expecting nothing. You feel better for it because you did a couple and you were like, actually, yeah, okay, life's going on. And then you went on the date and it was like, fuck, you've met the hottest girl you've ever dated. And it just goes to show that kind of extreme low and that it's a roller coaster. Right?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like literally from the darkest place I've ever been to the most romantic connection I've ever had with a woman.
That's
I think.
insane. In the course of literally about 4 hours.
I don't even know if it was 4 or it might have been like,
Less.
yeah, maybe 3 hours.
Crazy.
Literally blew my mind. I couldn't, I have no way to put that into words. I don't know why it's like that. I've had that happen a few times in my life where it's like, and I've had that happen a bunch of times in business. You know, you're at the, you know, it's that one more round, you know, like you've got whatever, your MMA fighter or something, and he's got, like, you're almost spent. And it's like, if you can just get off the mat, if you can just go one more round, that's where the magic is, you know?
It happened
But
yesterday.
it's being able to pull into that one more round.
It's that resilience and grit to keep going and just remembering
grits,
that
exactly.
even if it's kind of low, eventually, even if you're at a very low point, it has to come up.
Yeah.
So it couldn't really have got lower for you, so it had to come up, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's,
but it happened.
What happened to you?
No, it wasn't with me. It was with I'll call him Mr. R from Chicago, client whose last day here today. he got 3 fake phone numbers in a row when he thought they were really good interactions, and he was super low. We were eating a bit of steak tartare. That's always my go-to thing. He wasn't. He was having salmon, but I was having steak tartare, and he saw a girl, really hot young blonde girl, ran out. Got the number. He was thinking, oh, it's going to be another flake. It's going to be another fake number, because he got into that negative headspace. But ended up messaging her. It was a delayed date for half an hour later. She ends up coming along. He had the most remarkable evening. She's a model. She's now taking him. She met him at 9 a.m. this morning to take him round and show him Candelaria. And it just goes show again those lows, and it just goes into
Totally.
It's a random game, right? But that's what makes it addictive. It's those losses and
Totally,
the win.
totally. It's the you're sitting in Vegas at the thing, whatever.
It's the near win, and then that's
yeah,
what
and
gets
it's
you.
like it didn't win, then you hit jackpot for no reason, and then that's what makes it so addictive.
Yeah. So what's kind of maybe some takeaways for guys that obviously it's an interesting anecdote from their point of view about you, but what are some takeaways they can maybe use?
So the
from this?
first I think that's really important is if you're traveling. I'm quite an aware traveler, I think. I'm not like
You've
an
never
idiot
had it
gringo.
before, right? And you spent a lot of time in Latin
Yeah,
America.
I've never had that type of issue happen before. I've had a lot of times where you get a girl, especially in Vegas, where you get a girl back to your room and then you start messing around and then she's like, oh, I need a donation, and then you find out she's a hooker. But, so that's what I'm aware of here, is like be wary of that. But
Any red flags that for guys maybe visiting Colombia that you could have probably foreseen? Was the fact she had no ID, was that a kind of a thing?
yeah, I think now, I mean, that's happened to me once before and it was fine. But because they're very stringent with ID here, which is good because I totally do not support, exploitation of children and sexual slave trade shit. And that happens a lot in Colombia, so that's why they're so anal about checking ID here.
The ID, yeah.
But it does mean on the flip side that, if your date doesn't have ID, she's not getting into your hotel, right? So, it should be at least an indicator. Like if that happens, you're talking to a girl and she doesn't have a phone or she doesn't have ID. It does happen here, but like,
It's a bit
50%
unusual.
you might be like, at least prick your ears a little bit, right? Then, we got getting back to the hotel easy. That's not that big of a deal because sometimes happens as far as a flag. But definitely once we started the interaction, this is something that you can only kind of tell with when you've been with, different women. When the woman kind of pivots into a bit of a leadership role, that's like usually an indicator she's either been a stripper or she's done some, sugar daddy stuff, or she's a pro, or in this case, she knew exactly what the fuck she was doing.
So she was the one saying, let's go to this hotel when you couldn't get into your
That
place.
part I couldn't tell because she was talking in Spanish with the taxi driver, and I couldn't tell if she was asking him and he suggested it or she suggested it.
Okay.
Once we got there, I kind of was like on the 70% I think she'd been there before.
Okay.
But even that wouldn't have been a flag because if she's 19 or 20 living at home and her boyfriend lives at home, where are you going to go to fuck your boyfriend? You're probably going to go to a place like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the hourly motel, and it wasn't like a dirty place, right? It was just like literally by the hour. And so even that, but again, that should have been maybe like a 10% flag. But to be the biggest one was when the energy shifted. I'm a masculine man, so in the interaction, I'm always leading. And that doesn't mean I'm a control freak, but it means when you get into the bedroom, you're leading. So you're okay, it's not that you're telling her what to do, but you're just kind of, if you want to think about it, you're like the director of the movie, right? And maybe a funny way to put it when you're talking in the bedroom, but when she pivots into the role of guiding you,
And
I mean,
you kind
sometimes
of
that
felt
can
that
be
happen when you got into the hotel.
yeah, like she wanted to give me head, and then it was like obvious that, and then I was kind of like, no, we're gonna do this or whatever, and then she was, but again, even that was like, chick could just totally love giving, and but when you start adding them together, and you're like 10%, 10%, but then the one that should have totally got me was the drink, because she was supposedly drinking and I couldn't tell, and then she said, oh, here, have some, and so I had some, and then. Obviously she wasn't actually drinking it because it had a fucking pill in it, the drink. And then at one point, that went on for like maybe half an hour. And then at one point I was kind of like, it just kind of half occurred to me a tiny bit, there could be something in the drink. And I'm like, but she's drinking it too. And then she was like, here, and she said, open your mouth, which should have been the total flag because then she could actually see if I'm drinking it. She poured it in my mouth.
It's very rare for a feminine girl to be like, way down it. It's not like you've gone back.
But not
with
like chug, like just like a mouthful, right?
But even that,
but
it's like unusual. Right?
Yeah, it was just
If
off.
it's more of a masculine kind of girl, you can kind of see, oh, she's like, oh, go on.
And
But
then at that
it
point,
yeah.
I was like right there. After that, I was like, the next time she was, so then I thought, well, just in case I'm not drinking anymore. So then she went to do it again. And I was like, no, I don't want to have any more to drink.
And still that had been enough
And
to
then
knock
she
you.
said, she was like, oh, why not? And she was like, oh, but I'm drinking. I want you to drink too. Like,
Yeah.
I feel weird drinking without the other person drinking. And then I said, oh, I just don't like that beer. And she's like, oh, which beer do you drink?
And you got another
And at
one.
that point, no, I didn't get one. But at that point, it was like the flag was there, but I'd already drank half the beer. So I was like not drinking anymore. But
And
the
then
damage
that's
was already
still,
done.
it's already done. I wonder how long between.
And it came on, like, dude, like when it came on, it wasn't like alcohol. Like, oh my God, oh shit, hang on a sec. It wasn't like that at all. It was like a light switch, on off.
Really?
And when I came back, it wasn't like groggy.
I
It
wonder
was
how
like,
long it takes
I
from
just
drinking
popped.
it to hitting.
If
for
I
it
had
to
to
hit
guess, it would be maybe an hour, but I wasn't
you.
drinking
Really,
a lot.
that long?
I wasn't
Interesting.
drinking a lot of it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
so it
just
probably
trying to think
takes
how long
longer.
we were fucking around, maybe 45 minutes. But I mean, I was drinking, you know, probably most of it was in the bottom of the thing, I'm guessing, you know, as far as how it, you know, if you put powder in there and stir it or something, right? And, you know, I only drank maybe half of it.
Yeah.
Not even half of it. Maybe a third of it.
It's happened to me before as well in Brazil. But again, weirdly, she was quite nice about it because I woke up and I was flying to Vegas that day and I had to meet you. I had my passport on me, my phone, my wallet, my keys, everything. But she only just took money out of my thing. She didn't take the card, she didn't take the passport, she didn't take the phone. It was quite a nice robbery. I was actually quite pleased. I was like, okay, well, you know what? Lose $100.
She didn't take your phone.
Didn't take my phone
Oh,
or
that was
passport
kind.
or credit cards. I was
See,
like,
if she didn't take my phone, I would have been happy. Maybe she took my phone because I didn't have enough cash. I only had like 50 mil
but then
pesos.
she said she returned the $2.
So for
She
you
returned
guys,
the
bring
two-
more cash, and then that way
she
she'll leave your
returned
phone.
the little bits, you said.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. So like, you got to check this out because this is important information here. So this is my wallet, right? So I've got all the cards. They like slide into the wallet, and then the cash is like on a paper clip. Okay. So she like literally took this out of my pocket that was zippered, took it out, took the cash out, left the small bills, put them back in here, put it back in my pocket, and zippered it, and then took my phone and left.
A
And
very
left the jacket.
Nice robbery again. I mean, the
I was
phone were a
like-
bit annoying, but
Fuck, why wouldn't you just grab the jacket that has everything that I own in it and just go?
as we said, it was good. You
Maybe she what?
paid you for services.
Well, it's not
Services
bad.
ended.
You know, I lost a phone, but I'm up 8 pesos.
And
8
you
mil pesos.
didn't lose a kidney as well, as Juan said. You know, sometimes you hear these horror stories about guys. You know, they'll get a group of guys in, and you'll just be lifted out, and then wake up and it's ransom time.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's the
actually,
big thing.
It swings and roundabouts. It ended up okay in hindsight.
But something that you should be aware of if you travel, because you're kind of rolling the dice every time. You know, like, and especially so, I would say in hindsight, certain thoughts. You know, I pack everything into my safe in my hotel just because you do anyway. But if I'm gonna have a girl over there, you know, sometimes your laptop doesn't fit in the safe and shit like that. Make sure that shit's out of the place. Like, be prepared. So
Yeah.
I'm going on a date at 3 o'clock. That reminds me, my laptop's out. Yeah, it is. So put it away. You know, everything out of sight.
I kind of have it out
Shit.
though because I like to play a bit of music, right? So I kind of
I mean, worst case, yeah. I mean,
I have a Spotify on when they come back. Again, I'm assuming they're not a bad girl. Yeah, it's kind of.
and it's a bit different. Well,
Case by case basis. I think it's generally speaking okay. I mean, I got a bit cold feetish the other night, and I didn't end up letting the girl sleep over.
because
She was from
that's the big
Cartagena
thing.
originally,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm going to get you an Uber home because I was like, if I go to sleep now, everything's out. It's too risky.
That's
right?
totally the big thing. If you're not watching, like if you're watching your drinks the whole time, like women do, right? You know, just make sure she's not putting anything in your drink, even when you're at dinner or wherever, right? Just don't go to the bathroom while your drink's sitting there and shit.
Yeah.
You know, basic awareness. But to some degree, it's just we've been so lucky because you think about every time you go to a club, you meet people, and when you meet people, there's always one guy that's got a jug of that fucking agua dente shit, or in Rio, cachaça.
Yeah.
And they're always like, oh, shots, shots, shots for everybody in the group. And so you're always drinking shit from people you don't fucking know. But when you're on a date and shit like that, be a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
I think the most, the hardest part too is the trust. You know, because even though in a scenario like that, it's just like being off, having your radar off and knowing that you didn't have a fucking clue. It's not just that it made me feel stupid, it's that it made me feel like, okay, so my radar is untrustworthy with all of these other women. So basically they potentially all are the exact same. And so when I came to see you, I was in that negative place of like all women are that exact woman. No, that woman's one little bitch that I
Yeah.
haven't met one of in the whole time I've been doing
It's
this.
like having a one bad relationship or having one
One
bad
bad
pizza
Uber.
one bad pizza in an Italian restaurant saying, right, fuck Italian. It doesn't, you know, you've just got to go case by case.
You've probably said fuck Italians and then gone to Italy and fucked a bunch of Italians.
I'm not actually into, people will argue with me on this, but I really don't
Hairy
rate-
masculine women?
I don't rate Rome as a place to pick up. I think it's actually very hard. You know, the level of English is poor. Italian women are quite arrogant. So for me, it's
Are they
not
really
the best
furry?
place. That's French.
Okay.
Or they don't shout, oh fuck, my balls are burning. I'm not wearing, the hazards of wearing boxers on a hot day, the zip on the inside is burning my...
You had a rough night last night.
Anyway guys, pleasure, see you soon.